Baby daddy, 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 baby daddy. Child support, 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 child support. Girl, you about to make them laugh so hard. Somebody gonna pee on themselves just a little bit. And what you about to do? Girl, I'm about to make them laugh. That's what you about to do. All right, success. Break. I watched this movie called Who Framed Roger Rabbit when I was young, and there's a scene in the movie where the detective says to the rabbit, "Why are all these people doing this nice stuff for you?" And the rabbit says, "Because I make them laugh, Eddie. If you make people laugh, they'll do anything for you." And so I thought, that's how I'm gonna get on. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make people laugh, and in that way I can get these kids to help me do my homework, you know, give me extra lunch, all that stuff.
I used to take my underwear and put them up in my butt and give myself a wedgie and shake my butt in front of my mother. And every time I would make her laugh, she would forget that she was gonna spank me. So I was like, yeah, this making people laugh it works. I'm doing this.
In comedy, I feel like there's just a lot more power rooted in actually being talented, and that is encouraging to me. There's only one rating or compliment you get, and that's, you're funny. That's it.
A lot of our black female stories, our black stories, our black male stories have started on that stage. Stand-up comedy.
So make some noise, get up out your seat, make her feel good. Coming to the stage, one of the most funny young ladies out there doing
most
the damn
funny, that's
thing.
Yvonne
We sing
Orji,
all
correct.
kind of movies, singing all kind of shit coming up even after this.
That's
so
Mama
make some
Strong.
noise, stand up out your seat, and put your hands together for opening Luenell in the building. Make some noise!
My name is Luenell. I'm a stand-up comedian and actress. You know, I've been traveling so much. I've been out on this easily annoyed comedy tour of mine, I'm very happy to say. And I've been traveling all over the country. I remember listening to comedy albums when I was young, laying on the floor and putting my eye up to this red light that used to be on the bottom of this thing. We had a hi-fi, it was called a hi-fi stereo system. I would put my eye right up to the red light at the bottom of the hi-fi, and I would go into that light and I would see myself in this like red-lit seedy comedy club as I was listening to Red Fox or listening to Richard Pryor or listening to Bill Cosby. I have fans that have been riding with me for over 20 years. I think that I'm a great comedic actress. I think I have been for quite a long time. I think there's a certain amount of fearlessness you have to do this anyway, because singers have bands and actors have other actors to act with. When you're doing stand-up, you stand alone. You have a good show, you can pat yourself on the back. You have a bad show, you want to stick yourself in the eye, wear hot needles, and just pull the covers up and die and bleed to death and die. I've been traveling all over the country. We're shooting a VH1 special on black women in comedy tonight. It's for VH1 Online. You know, I ain't putting this shit on the real VH1. But VH1 is VH1, and I'll take what the I can get, you know? Comedians are already sort of the last renegade entertainers, and the female comic is almost invisible. The female black comic, they just don't focus on this at all.
I remember when I was starting out, and I'd be at a comedy club, and without fail, a male, either comic or just a man in general will say, "Oh, so what are you doing tonight? Are you doing spoken word? Are you singing at the comedy club?" Comedy being the operative word, sir. Like, why are you asking me these things?
There are endless opportunities for everybody else.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Black women or like someone who doesn't look like, mainstream, whatever, they will leave one spot open for you.
I feel like it's either you have to be like really hood or a Black woman
really
that's
fat,
or
right?
or Black woman that dates a white man, and it's like we're all different. I have a girlfriend, you're single, dodging penis all the time. Like
Yep.
we're so different,
As a comic, I use everything about me. I use growing up in the suburbs as a Black person. I use the fact that like Black people and Africans haven't gotten along, so I use that. I use the fact that I went to an all-girls boarding school in Amish country, Pennsylvania. I worked in the Dominican Republic, so I speak Spanish. So I'll use everything to my advantage, and it throws off audiences all the time. I'll just be like, "Hola, mami, ¿cómo tú estás? Pero tú sabes." They're like, "Wait, why is she speaking Spanish? What's going on? I thought she was Nigerian. I'm so confused."
From comedian Yvonne Orji comes a hilarious, new family sitcom about one daughter's quest to discover her own American dream while living out her mother's Nigerian nightmare.
I want to, almost be like all things to all people. Like let's figure out a way to connect, with audiences, and I think that goes back to the desegregation of humor.
One of the biggest things about comedy, specifically Black comedy, if it's not like Def Poetry Jam style comedy, then it's not considered like Black comedy. And if you, as a comic who is Black, don't perform that kind of comedy, it's like, then you lose your Black title and you're called like alt comedy. There's a spectrum of individuals, and it still speaks to the homogeny that people think of when they think of Black people. It's almost like, even when I go in for a lot of these auditions, it's like, they think this is the only kind of Black girl there is. And like, I'm only like that on Thursdays. You know what I mean?
We need you guys to get a lot of energy up for this girl. She's super funny. She's on the Carmichael Show on NBC and in the new Key and Peele movie. Start clapping right now. Come on, get ready. Tiffany Haddish, guys. Tiffany Haddish.
That's all I'm dating now. Like, I'm single now, and so only thing I want to date is dudes that got an inheritance. Like, if you don't have no inheritance, don't even talk to me. Because it's true what they say. It's very true what they say. White man die, he leave a will. Black man die, he leave a bill. And it is so true. It is so true. Oh, my goodness. Like, real talk. I think as a Black woman, yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's like, oh, she gonna be up there being ghetto, or she gonna be this, she gonna be that. I've been doing comedy since I was 15 years old. Okay, I've done over 500 bar mitzvahs. I can fit into any environment, and that's because of where I come from. So don't think because of the color of my skin that I can't make it work. My foster dad got deported, and then I had to move in with a Jewish family, and I was so scared because the Mexicans had told me what the Jews did to Jesus, and I was like, oh no, I got curly hair too, what's gonna happen to me? But turns out they were really great people. They taught me how to speak Hebrew. They threw me a bat mitzvah. I'm circumcised now, so it feels good when I walk fast.
It's not just about a technique that Black female comedians have. It's about marrying the technique with the truth. Because we will tell you the truth, and we will get ethnic about it. There's a reality that you're continuing to struggle through, move through, and be challenged through in your own life, let alone in what you want to do in the industry, that then seeps into your comedy. So we keep it real.
The number one challenge it is for Black women to make people laugh is that we have to do it through our crying. There are many things that every day want to make me cry. But you know what? I got to get my ass out there and make people laugh. That's not easy all the time. Black female comedians channel their anger through the comedy. And we're not complainers, which is why I think a lot of people put that angry Black woman tag on us.
Comedy is a relief. We've had to have release and relief for so long that, you know what, when you can't cry anymore, you just laugh.
One of the biggest comedians of her day, his mom's Mabley. Undoubtedly, hands down. She could tell you about her sex life. She could tell you about men. She could tell you about all those things, and everyone would gather around to listen because they saw a snippet of themselves.
There's 3,000 colored men ready to go up for that country. So I don't know which one to choose. All of them are capable of going. Say, but I want to be fair. So I'm going to throw a feather out. I say the one that the feather lights on will be the first colored man to go up in the accident. He throws the feather out, you ought to see them cats.
She broke all barriers by still being Black Mom's Mabley. Genius.
There's a lot of females that I have looked up to throughout my life. Whoopi, Mom's Mabley, Wanda Sykes, Thea Vidal, Hope Flood, Laura Hayes, some more, LaWanda Page. That's off the top of my head.
LaWanda Page as Esther taught me that I could really get gritty and dirty and do what comes natural to me when I was playing against Martin. Because the role was originally written for a heavyset Black woman. I'm not fat. How do I make this work? They had to change the whole character. So that's why they made Pam the man-hungry woman that was the best friend.
Sisters always kind of track each other because we like seeing an aspect of ourselves in others. Like when Whoopi Goldberg came up, she was the first Black female comedian, improv artist, sketch woman who wrote her own material in one-woman show that I said, I know I'm gonna be in this business. She is an inspiration, and she truly did carve a path by simply being her, which gave a lot of people the opportunity to be themselves.
Whoopi showed all the dark-skinned women in America, oh, shit, I could do that too. She knocked down some doors. She also taught that, you know, you could be in a Black woman in a white world and still be funny, and still be you, and still inspire, and still be responsible with what you have. You don't have to conform to what people think you should be. Whoopi is prime example of that.
The more rule breakers you get, the more doors are able to open. There's been some pretty bad chicks doing comedy, man.
I took a look at the people who were where I want to be, and they all had something in common, stand-up comedy. And it let me know, like, if you want to have an empire that's a multi-platform media empire based on your point of view, you need to do stand-up, and then you need to be good at it too.
Let's talk about white girls. White girls are cursing out the cops and living, right? I want to learn that trick. That shit's impressive, which is why that is who we need to send to fight ISIS.
Right now, I am getting ready for a show at Santa Monica at the West Side Comedy Theater, one of my favorite venues. Let's get this show on the road. Let's get my act together, literally. And head west. To Santa Monica we go! Yeah, I definitely think social media has been a great help to Black women in comedy because it's allowing us to write in our own voice and create our own content. So like for my web series, Get Your Life, I wrote that and produced it and started it so that I could have a body of work that represents my voice as a writer and as a performer. No, I'm still learning the lay of the land. Where y'all headed?
We're going to some book reading / pool party / album release party. Girl, I don't know. It's free food and it's gonna be dudes there that don't have 5 to 7 roommates.
Ooh, you should come. I should come, right? I can't. Dang. I have a set.
But you know, break legs, make that money, turn up for $8.
I'm on the show.
Come on in,
Thank
welcome.
you.
All right, this next comedian coming to the stage you have seen on MTV and also VH1. She's a very funny comic. Get it for Amanda Seales. Let her hear it right now, you guys. Amanda Seales.
Black female comedians are finding that because they're not getting the opportunities in traditional media that they should, they are creating their own spaces. I mean, look at Issa Rae, right? She started out on social media, and now she's got a deal on HBO, which has been picked up for a second season. That's fantastic, and it's a wonderful trajectory and a great example of what we can do when given the shot.
There's so many outlets now, and it's like you don't even need a manager right now. You don't need an agent. You can make your own opportunities happen with your content because no one can tell you you're not talented if you're talented. So if you can act, get on YouTube, do some skits, like be a character.
Yeah. Because the door is sort of opening now, that is amazing, but it comes with a new set of problems. Now, when you're a Black woman and you say, hey, I want to do a show on HBO. Well, is it gonna be like Issa's? No, bitch, because we're different.
Yeah, comedians don't have a union. Therefore, we'll never even get any health care unless we cross over into film and television. And once you do that, a whole different set of doors opens for you, commercial-wise, sponsorship-wise, so on and so forth. And that raises your profile globally. And we have to have people, write roles for us that live lives like us. And they have to let those writers in. And they have to let producers in that will produce those films that we write for us.
As a writer, I don't always write for women who look like me, and I think that's one of my favorite things about writing. I get to write for people who have completely different experiences than I do, and I get to sort of bring their voices to life with even more clarity and humor, which I really enjoy. Specifically, when I was working at The Nightly Show, all of our contributors were women of color. It made me a smarter and more intelligent and more empathetic person to experience people's lives outside of my own, and also just made me funnier.
Let me put it this way. I can write a white girl character because I have grown up watching every kind of white girl story possible. Like use the right lane to take exit 1A, then keep right. From Monica to Rachel to Phoebe. I mean, those are three very different white girls alone. But for Black women, we haven't had that kind of representation. So I am always going in for roles written by people who don't know my voice and who haven't been exposed to multiple examples of our experiences. And that's why
Continue on 5th Street for a half mile.
And that's why it's so frustrating and so limiting.
When I first started working at The Nightly Show, I didn't know what World Star was. So people were making all these jokes about World Star and World Star, saying, World Star! And I was like, what is happening? Then I found out what World Star was, and I was like, mind blown, this is amazing. How did I miss this? I never would have gotten that if I hadn't been working at Nightly Show or at a show that had people of color behind the scenes writing with me. And I would have been a lesser person for it, for sure.
Good jokes and a sincere personality can transcend age, religion, color. I mean, at the end of the day, funny is funny.
You don't have to look like me to think I'm funny.
No.
And I do a lot of shows that it'll be people who look nothing like me. It'll be a room full of young white children. And I'm like, okay, look at all these fans. Look at all these potential fans.
Yeah. I had to tell myself, why are you surprised? When white people come up and say they watched the show. You watched Sex and the City, you watched Friends, you watched, Seinfeld, and there weren't a lot of Black characters on any of those shows, but you still appreciate it. So, yeah, people who are not Black are appreciating the show focused around a Black experience. So, enjoy it.
It is a pretty turbulent time right now, and I am so grateful for the fact that we have more women in comedy and more Black women in comedy who can vocalize how they feel about the current situation, because it is gonna get pretty tough out there. And I feel like we really need to have a lot of different voices we can turn to for support, for righteous anger, and specifically just to make us laugh, because a lot of times that's all we really can do.
Let's talk about something that doesn't make white people uncomfortable. Racism.
What I love about stand-up is that it's constant. Once you kind of start getting a rhythm going, you just don't want to stop. So tomorrow I have another show, and I have a production company meeting, and this is the thing though, it doesn't feel like a grind anymore. It just feels like momentum. So we're winning.
I think it's really important that we support Black female comedians, not just in the traditional spaces, but, on YouTube and on their web series, and, seek them out.
Let's go have a petty day.
We have to start learning more about the writing end and the producing end and take things into our own hands. If you knock on enough doors long enough and hard enough, I think something will open.
As ethnic humorists, as Black humorists, we're really good at telling you stories about our relationships. And because of that, there's an empowerment to that truth that people find funny.
There are a lot more opportunities nowadays, but I wish the women that did pave the way for me in that whole comedic world were able to experience the world now. If I can pave the way for somebody else through my trials, then it was worth it. It's always good when you see yourself. I want to see more of us.
I've been traveling all over the country. We're shooting a VH1 special on Black women in comedy tonight.
Let's talk about something that doesn't make white people uncomfortable. Racism.